so the Seven Habits class on Cherry Street was awesome. Each week we would cover one habit, um, and for a person who thought they knew everything, even as beginning taking the course, I still thought I had all the answers. And Stephen Covey talks about having an aha moment, and I had mine pretty early, where you realize that you don't know everything, and my whole thought process changed, and how my whole approach to things changed with this class. It really put things in perspective. That you know all of the seven habits are great, and it begins with the first one, with being proactive. And I knew that taking this class was definitely a step in the right direction. The speakers were great, and they really touched us, as to know that these people were really high important people, to take their time out to come speak to us, so that they can change our
Who in
lives.
particular?
Oh man,
Or two or three?
two or three.
Say the top two.
Okay, there was Joe Budd from the Bud Group came, to hear his story on how they started with a small company. I believe it was landscaping, and now they're doing all of these other, you know, great things. There were, oh man, the speakers.
You told me about Cameron Kent.
Yes, Cameron Kent. That was real. He's a local celebrity, and to know that he was taking his time out to come speak with us, and then to still go be on the news later on that night, and to hear about how busy his schedule is. And it shows that successful people really do apply these seven habits, whether they read the book or not. That the habits that are in this book, they are really applying them to their lives, and that was one of the common things that all of the people had.
How did it impact your thinking?
Oh well, I definitely had a paradigm a paradigm shift. Definitely, they talk about picking up one side of the stick. You also pick up the other one, which really made me reflect on some of the actions that I have taken, or that I've in going forward. That when you take an action, there is a consequence, whether it be good or bad, that comes along with that. And now I take that into consideration when the actions that I take. I think about, okay, what is going to be the outcome of this situation, the action that I take. Whereas before it was, I could do no wrong, and there was no thought to the actions. I was walking around, high, and just I had all the answers. So there was no wrong choices.
How did it impact your relationships?
Oh well, there was the one chapter of the book that really hit home, with the seek first to understand, then to be understood. Definitely strengthened all of my relationships in my life, with my mom, with my wife, my other family members. Even being incarcerated, it definitely helped to, you know, not let situations escalate when you seek to understand where somebody is coming from. And when you genuinely listen to somebody to understand where they're coming from and what they're trying to say, then they almost take one step closer towards you. When now they know that you're fully engaged, and you listen to what they have to say, and now they're so much more perceptive to what you have to say.
So what's happened since you've gotten out?
So since I've gotten out, I got out in November of 2013. Finding a job was tough, online, filling out applications, and I stumbled upon a job at Del Monte, fresh cut facility out in Whitsett. And I started there thinking I was going to go in there stacking boxes or whatever they were going to have me to do. But it just so happened they had a position open for a data entry position, and they saw my resume, and they were just like, there's got to be a catch. This is too good to be true. And, you know, it was through a temp agency, so I told the temp agency about my situation, but the supervisors that interviewed me, they didn't know. If they asked, I was going to tell, but they didn't ask. So I started with the temp agency, and they were so impressed by my work ethic and everything. So 3 months later, they offered me a position with Del Monte. I knew it was going to be a challenge getting hired on as a felon, but I had a lot of favor, and I just had my goals in mind, and thinking when and all of that, and they did hire me on in March of 2014 with that same position. The summer they offered me a another position as a production foreman. So now I am currently a supervisor. I do scheduling. I have employees, and I've just grown so much each day. Being there.
And what about your personal life? What you're doing with your wife? What kind of activities?
So yeah, I enjoy being my wife. We go to church. We spending time with my daughter is awesome. All three of us, and my mom is not too far, and my personal life is just so much more fulfilling than it used to be. You know, putting family first, and making time for the more important things in life is so much more a priority to me right now.
So life is good.
Yes, life is good.